Let's get on. Let's get on. Oh, there I am. KeysDAN Show. It's the KeysDAN Show. I need a new theme for the KeysDAN Show. You might hear news. You might learn stuff. You never know what you're going to get on the KeysDAN Show. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah. What's up, party people? KeysDAN, RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live and in living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, the KeysDAN Show. It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I always send you? DJLittleRock.com. One more time, DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote, and maybe you can have me at your next event. You know I like to party with the people. The people need to be entertained. Well, today it is, what is the date today? I guess I need to look these things up. It's a very special day. It's March 19th, 2021. And tonight I have a wedding in at Atkins, Arkansas. So stay tuned to my Instagram feed, and you might see some pictures pop up here and there at KeysDAN on Instagram. You might see some pictures from the wedding, so I'm kind of excited about that. Yeah, parties, and it's a Friday wedding. The very, not so unusual, but somewhat occasional weddings on Fridays. Usually I have a karaoke show at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas on Friday nights. I'm looking forward to that again next week. Tonight, Brock Forness is covering the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. So there will still be a karaoke show at the Rab. Brock's capable hands. Oh yeah, party on. But for me, I'll be at the wedding tonight. Now this couple, very laid back. I spoke to her briefly yesterday, and my goodness, hey, so what kind of music would you like? Are you going to pick any songs? No, you pick them. Okay. Sometimes I can press wedding plan 1A and give you a great wedding, but I want it to be your wedding. It's much better when you pick out the songs and you have your tastes reflected off of me. I'll play what you want. But she did say that any requests are fine by her. She's happy as they're the clean versions, because we don't want to put up with that. Apparently, I guess this is a destination wedding of sorts. I guess they've destinated to the great place in Atkins, Arkansas. I'm sure you'll figure out where I'm at. I don't want to divulge exactly where I'm going, because I don't want any party crashers to show up, before the show. Wouldn't that be terrible if me on this podcast made a bunch of party crashers show up to a random wedding? Not cool, man. But I am excited about the weddings. Oh yeah, weddings are coming back. I'm stoked. I'm very excited. And also, if you'd like to tell your story or hear the stories of others, I encourage you to check out my other podcast, What Makes You Famous. Find it everywhere using the hashtag What Makes You Famous. Now, on with the show. Today on the program, 10 things you need to know today for Friday, March 19th, 2021. 10 things you need to know today. Number 1, U.S. to send Mexico, Canada 4 million vaccine doses. The Biden administration plans to send 2.5 million AstraZeneca vaccine doses to Mexico and 1.5 million to Canada, the White House said Thursday. The extra supply is sitting in warehouses and because U.S. regulators have not yet approved for emergency use. Mexico and Canada have cleared the AstraZeneca shots for use, so they could immediately start administering them. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said the plan has not yet been finalized. The announcement came as the Biden administration asks Mexico to help curb a wave of migrants trying to get across the U.S.-Mexico border. President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador requested during a recent video call that President Biden consider sending the surplus supply. Canada's vaccine supply has so far come from Europe and India. This is according to Number 2, House passes bills with citizenship path for Dreamers farm workers. The House on Thursday approved an immigration bill seeking to create a path to citizenship for roughly 2 million Dreamers, undocumented immigrants who were brought to the United States when they were children. The 228 to 197 vote was split mostly along party lines, with 9 Republicans joining Democrats to push it through. A second bill seeks to give immigrants working in agriculture a path to legal status. The legislation faces a tough road in the evenly split Senate, where all 50 Democrats and 10 Republicans would have to support it to get past a GOP filibuster and advance the bills. Passing bipartisan immigration legislation has become more difficult recently, as Republicans have pointed to a surge in unaccompanied minors arriving at the southern border as a sign that tougher immigration laws are needed. This is according to CNBC. Number 3, lawmakers, activists call out anti-Asian violence after spa shootings. Asian American lawmakers and advocates said Thursday in a House Judiciary Committee subcommittee hearing that violence and discrimination against Asian Americans had reached a crisis point with the shooting spree that left 8 people dead, including 6 women of Asian descent, at 3 Atlanta area spas. Quote, for over a year, Asian Americans have been fighting an additional virus of hate and bigotry, end quote. Representative Grace Meng, Democrat, New York, said in the hearing, which was called before the attacks, on rising anti-Asian violence. Representative Judy Chu, Democrat, California, chair of the Congressional Asian Pacific American Caucus, said anti-Asian bias grew worse over the past year as former President Donald Trump repeatedly referred to COVID-19 as the, quote, China virus, end quote, or, quote, Wuhan flu, end quote. Some Republicans attributed rising crimes against Asian Americans to surging urban violence. This is according to the Los Angeles Times and The Guardian. Number 4, Biden says administration reaching goal of 100 million vaccine doses. President Biden said Thursday that his administration would meet his goal of administering 100 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines on Friday. Biden said before taking office that the U.S. would hit the mark in his first 100 days, but Friday is just his 58th day. Biden said 100 million is, quote, just the floor, end quote. Quote, just the floor. We will not stop until we beat this pandemic, end quote. Biden set the goal in December, just before federal regulators approved the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines for emergency use. The Trump administration's slow vaccine rollout threatened to make it hard for Biden to keep his promise. But by the time he took office, the daily tally had risen close to the necessary pace of 1 million doses per day. The U.S. is now administering about 1 billion shots daily. About 16 million doses were administered during the Trump administration. This is according to Politico. Number 5, U.S.-China trade barbs at start of talks. U.S. Secretary of State and National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan met Thursday in Alaska with top China diplomat Yang Jiechi and State Councilor Wang Yi to start the first direct high-level talks the Biden administration has had with Beijing. The two sides scolded each other in a rare public airing of their differences over trade and other policies. Quote, we will discuss our deep concerns with actions by China, including Xinjiang, Hong Kong, Taiwan, cyber attacks on the United States, economic coercion of our allies, end quote, Blinken said. Quote, each of these actions threaten the rules-based order that maintains global stability, end quote. Yang criticized the United States for what he said was the nation's struggling democracy and mistreatment of minorities. This is according to Reuters. Number 6, European regulators declare AstraZeneca vaccine safe, effective. The European Medicines Agency has concluded that the coronavirus vaccine AstraZeneca, developed with Oxford University, is safe despite decisions by several European countries to suspend its use due to suspicions it could be linked to blood clots. The EMA's executive director, Emmer Cook, said the drug regulator had, quote, come to a clear scientific conclusion. This is a safe and effective vaccine, end quote. The EMA group found that the vaccine was, quote, not associated with an increase in the overall risk of thromboembolic events or blood clots, end quote, Cook said. Although the agency said it could not definitively rule out a link to a rare blood clotting disorder. Regardless, Cook said the vaccine's benefits outweighed any risk. This is according to CNN. Number 7, Senate confirms Becerra Burns. The Senate on Thursday narrowly confirmed California Attorney General Xavier Becerra as Health and Human Services Secretary, making him the first Latino to lead the agency. The vote was 50-49. Becerra will have to implement parts of the American Rescue Plan, expand the Affordable Care Act, and run shelters for unaccompanied minors crossing the southern border. In a far more bipartisan vote, the Senate also confirmed William J. Burns as CIA Director. Burns' nomination was approved by unanimous consent. Burns was one of the nation's most experienced career diplomats, worked in the Foreign Service for 3 decades before retiring in 2014. He takes over the spy agency at a moment of escalating tensions between the United States and Russia, a country where he once served as America's ambassador. This is according to the Wall Street Journal and the Washington Post. Number 8, Labor Department says weekly new jobless claims rose to 770,000. The Labor Department said Thursday that 770,000 Americans filed initial jobless claims last week. That was up 45,000 claims from the level of the previous week, which was initially reported to be 712,000, but revised up to 725,000. It was also about 70,000 claims higher than expected, as economists thought claims would decline this week about 700,000. The number of new claims remains higher than the record prior to the pandemic, which was 695,000. The number of claims is also still higher than any week during the Great Recession. The most recent U.S. jobs report had surpassed expectations earlier this month, but Glassdoor senior economist Daniel Zhao wrote that while, quote, the engine of economic recovery is restarting, end quote, there, quote, is still a long way to go, end quote. This is according to CNBC. Number 9, Georgia Sheriff spokesman removed from spa shooting case. The Cherokee County, Georgia Sheriff's Office has removed a spokesman from the investigation into shootings that killed 8 people, including 6 women of Asian descent, at 3 Atlanta area spas. The decision came after a social media post emerged in which the spokesman, Captain Jay Baker, promoted T-shirts calling COVID-19 an, quote, imported virus from CHY-NA, China, end quote. Baker was already facing widespread criticism for seeming to dismiss the possibility that the attack was a hate crime and telling reporters that the murder suspect, 21-year-old Robert Aaron Long, had a, quote, really bad day, end quote, and, quote, this is what he did, end quote. Cherokee County Sheriff Frank Reynolds issued a statement Thursday saying the department regrets, quote, any heartache, end quote, Baker's remarks caused. Reynolds said Baker's comments were, quote, not intended to disrespect any of the victims, end quote. This is according to USA Today and the Washington Post. Number 10, woman alleges actor Armie Hammer violently raped her in 2017. The Los Angeles Police Department said Thursday that it was investigating a woman's allegation that the actor, Armie Hammer, sexually assaulted her. The woman, who identified herself as Effie, came forward in a Thursday press conference with attorney Gloria Allred to allege the Call Me By Your Name star. quote, violently raped me for over 4 hours, end quote. In April 2017, she said Hammer slapped her head against a wall and, quote, committed other acts of violence against me to which I did not consent, end quote. Andrew Bretler, an attorney for Hammer, said the allegations were not true. Bretler did not deny that Hammer, who was married at the time, had a relationship with the accuser, but said his relations with her and all other sexual partners, quote, have been completely consensual, discussed and agreed upon in advance, and mutually participatory, end quote. This is according to the New York Times and The Wrap. That's 10 things you need to know today for Friday, March 19th, 2021. Thank you so much for listening. Let's see if there's any good news out there. Or let's check on the history for March 19th. Well, not good news, but certainly history all in itself. War in Iraq begins on this date in history, March 19th, 2003. The United States, along with coalition forces, primarily from the United Kingdom, initiates a war on Iraq just after explosions begin to rock Baghdad, Iraq's capital. U.S. President George W. Bush announced in a televised address, quote, at this hour, American and coalition forces are in the early stages of military operations to disarm Iraq, to free its people, and to defend the world from grave danger, end quote. President Bush and his advisors built much of their case for war on the idea that Iraq, under dictator Saddam Hussein, possessed or was in the process of building weapons of mass destruction. Hostilities began about 90 minutes after the U.S. imposed deadline for Saddam Hussein to leave Iraq or face war passed. The first targets, which Bush said were of, quote, military importance, end quote, were hit with Tomahawk cruise missiles from U.S. fighter bombers and warships stationed in the Persian Gulf. In response to the attacks, Republic of Iraq Radio Baghdad announced, quote, the evil ones, the enemies of God, the homeland, and humanity have committed the stupidity of aggression against our homeland and people, end quote. Though Saddam Hussein had declared in early March 2003 that, quote, it is without a doubt that the faithful will be victorious against aggression, end quote. He went into hiding soon after the American invasion, speaking to his people only through an occasional audio tape. Coalition forces were able to topple his regime and capture Iraq's major cities in just 3 weeks, sustaining few casualties. President Bush declared the combat operations on May 1st, 2003. Despite the defeat, forces in Iraq, and insurgency has continued an intense guerrilla war in the nation in the years since the military victory was announced, resulting in thousands of coalition military, insurgent, and civilian deaths. After an intense manhunt, U.S. soldiers found Saddam Hussein hiding in a 6 to 8 foot deep hole 9 miles outside his hometown of Tikrit. He did not resist and was uninjured during the arrest. A soldier at the scene described him as, quote, a man resigned to his fate, end quote. And began trial for crimes against his people, including mass killings in October 2005. In 2004, the provisional government in place since soon after Saddam's ouster transferred power to the Iraqi interim government. In January 2005, the Iraqi people elected a 275-member Iraqi National Assembly. A new constitution for the country was ratified that October. On November 6, 2006, Saddam Hussein was found guilty of crimes against humanity and sentenced to death by hanging. After an unsuccessful appeal, he was executed on December 30th, 2006. No weapons of mass destruction were found in Iraq. The U.S. declared an end to the war in Iraq on December 15th, 2011, nearly 10 years after the fighting began. That's this date in history, March 19th, 2003. Any more good news? Any good news at all? Okay. Well, today, I probably should have had more of this. Let's see. Today is, well, amongst today's things it's International Read to Me Day, which is what I'm doing right now, reading to you. It's International Clients Day, so take care of your clients. I'll be taking care of my wedding clients this evening. It's Chocolate Caramel Day, March 19th. And it's also Poultry Day, so I guess you could have some chicken and maybe a chocolate caramel to follow it up. But let's see, the top one is World Sleep Day. Are you getting enough sleep? Are you? March 19th is World Sleep Day. Sleep may seem like such a normal aspect of life that it might seem silly to even talk about it. It can be one of the most banal, underrated aspects of people's lives. But for those who have recurring sleep problems, getting enough sleep can be a real challenge and affect everything else in life. World Sleep Day aims to consider and aid those who have sleep problems. It is useful for educating people all over the world about the importance of sleep, as well as changing the way people view and experience sleep by giving them valuable resources to help them in their daily lives. The history of World Sleep Day. Hosted since 2008, World Sleep Day is a global awareness of sleep and aims to help those with serious sleep problems. Celebrated on Friday before spring vernal equinox of each year, this holiday has an annual 155 events held across the world and is participated by over 70 countries. World Sleep Day focuses on various issues related to sleep, sleep medicine, and the social effects that sleep deprivation can have on everyday life. From mild to severe, sleep difficulties are a modern problem that may have the ability to hijack people's entire lives if not kept in check. According to the American Sleep Association, over 50 to 70 million people have some type of sleeping disorder. Over 25 million have sleep apnea. And the most commonly reported sleep problem is insomnia, the inability to sleep at all or for a full night. Organized by the World Sleep Day Committee of the World Sleep Society, this day began with a group of health professionals and providers who were studying in the area of sleep medicine and sleep research. World Sleep Day aims to bring people together, whether everyday people or healthcare providers, to discuss sleep problems, help find solutions, and prevent sleep problems for those who don't yet have them. Doctors such as Liborio Parino, MD, Italy, and Antonio Culebras, MD, were the first co-chair members of World Sleep Day and aided in creating the World Sleep Society, a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping fund research for pervading sleep problems faced in the world today. The World Sleep Society works with various news organizations to help them spread the word and report about the effects sleep can have on day-to-day life. It's all about getting the word out and letting people know where to find help. How to celebrate World Sleep Day. Take a nap. No, I'm just kidding. Enjoying World Sleep Day can be super easy. Just making some efforts to move toward healthy sleep can change life these ways to give an intentional nod to the day. All right, my first suggestion, take a nap. Celebrate World Sleep Day by doing the one thing that everyone loves at the end of each day, sleep. Take the day off and sleep as long as you want, or in a less extreme manner, try grabbing a 20-minute power nap during a lunch break at work. If you feel refreshed afterwards, it means that you needed it. And practice sleep hygiene. Because children so naturally fall asleep when they are tired, adults may simply assume that they should be able to do the same thing. They often cannot. Just like taking care of the physical body by showering or brushing the teeth, a person's sleep routine may need a little bit of extra attention and care. The process of sleep hygiene allows the brain and body to quiet themselves and prepare for a good night of sleep. This includes healthy habits and relaxation routines such as fixed bedtime and wake time. The circadian rhythms of the body work better when bedtime and wake time is the same time each day. Exercise. People who don't have enough physical activity during the day may struggle to sleep at night. So be sure to take a brisk walk or practice other cardio several hours before bedtime. Cut back on caffeine. As a stimulant, caffeine can make the mind and body active, so it's best to avoid coffee, tea, or other caffeinated beverages at least 6 hours prior to bedtime. Room temperature. Keep the bedroom between 60 and 67 degrees Fahrenheit or 16 to 19 degrees Celsius. Give 30 minutes for bedtime routine. Instead of expecting to fall asleep right away, calculate a half an hour to wind down with soft music, light stretching, or reading a boring book. Dim the lights. Tell the brain it's time to sleep by lowering the lights. Unplug. At least 60 minutes prior to bedtime, turn off the computer, television, smartphone, or other devices as the blue lights can interfere with good sleep rhythms. Practice meditation. Deep breathing and mindfulness practices before bed can help the brain to release the stress of the day, which sets the stage for better sleep. Download a sleep app. Those who are looking for help with their sleep can use a smartphone application to help out. Slumber, Calm, Sleep Cycle, and Reflectly are all committed to helping either soothe the brain toward sleep or to measure the sleeping rhythms during the night. Participate in a sleep awareness event. Donate to a sleep fundraiser on this day to help support more research into disorders such as sleep apnea and insomnia. Check for events in your local area or find an online sleeping foundation to get connected with. Buy a new mattress. Many people struggle with sleep problems due simply to a poor support structure during sleep. Use World Sleep Day as an excuse to see if buying a new bed would make a difference in sleep quality. Some higher-end mattresses, such as Sleep Number, make it possible to customize a mattress based on each individual's needs. Talk to a sleep professional. For those who believe they have a sleep problem, it is important to take the time to talk to a sleep professional. See if they would recommend a sleep test to make a diagnosis and ask what kind of sleep hygiene suggestions they have. Share this day on social media using the hashtag World Sleep Day and let your friends, family, and followers know how essential sleep can be for people everywhere. Oh my goodness, how many people need some more sleep? Well, that's it for me. It's Friday, March 19th, 2021. I got to get off to this wedding. My goodness, I got to change into my good outfit, my good clothes. It's nice to look pretty for a wedding, I'll tell you. Also, hey, if you'd like to tell your story or hear the stories of others, I encourage you to check out my other podcast, What Makes You Famous. Find it everywhere using the hashtag What Makes You Famous. And if you want to watch me play video games, I encourage you to do that as well. Hashtag KeysDAN Gaming. Find me on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook Gaming. Yeah, you can watch me play Fortnite most of the time very poorly, but hey, it's fun. I have a good time playing it. That's it for me. It's KeysDAN, RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace.